Everybody, Father Peter here. Look who I've got today. Special guest star on your screen. Yes, you bet, Cyra Borsy. Cyra being the only person in the church who only needs to go by one name. Mark Thorsheim, our junior warden, once said of Cyra, yep, she's like Pele. She only needs one name. So we got the Pele of youth ministry here with us today. Cyra, you've been the director of our youth ministry for some time, but for 10 years, you have been part of the youth ministry. You love the kids with your whole heart and your whole soul, and they all know it. And I've got you here in a new format for my video log, in the world according to Cyra, so that we can hear a little bit about you, to hear a little bit about our youth and what they're up to and how they're doing, both the good and the bad and some of the challenges. So why don't we start with a lot of the things that people don't know. How about just a word about that incredible pen pal ministry that you've all started up?
So Justin and I do a meetup on Thursdays where it's just a drop-in group for, it's open to any of the kids that are part of the EYC. And we were having a really great conversation with them one evening. And I was thinking, because we were doing this, passing of the peace that was really taking place with the adults, I thought, wouldn't this be a really great opportunity for some of our kids to delve into having conversation and having a relationship with some folks in the parish that maybe they don't even know, and bring back old-fashioned letter writing. So, you can work on that penmanship as well, because that's not being utilized anymore, right? Everybody's typing away. So I floated out the idea to Justin, and he thought it was wonderful. So what we did was we looked at members of Community of Hope, and that's a group that either we go in and they might receive Eucharist from us when we were giving Eucharist, when we were making home visits. These are people that will go and visit and touch base with. And so that was one group that we were looking at. And then the other group is the Wisdom Circle group. And those are the folks that are 80 and over. Yep. And so what I did was I combined those two lists, removed those names who were redundant, and it ended up giving us maybe around 53 of our people of the older population that are part of our congregation. And so then I put the ask out, and I said, this is what we're thinking of doing. And, would you be interested in delving into letter writing and being a pen pal over the next several weeks, and just write a letter? It doesn't matter that you don't know them. Chances are both of you are going through the same thing. Not happy that you're at home. You're removed from your regular network of people because you're not seeing them in person. You might be connected with them online or via phone, but just send them a little note and let them know who you are, that you're a member of St. Mark's. And so we got about 48 kids that responded and said that they were down for being part of this project. And it has been going like gangbusters. And some of the beautiful relationships that have come out of this, we didn't make a big announcement about it. And a couple of people that were receiving notes emailed me and said, is this you're doing? This sounds a lot like something that you would throw together. And so I just gently said, yes, respond to them and see what happens. So a lot of the kids and the adults have been having for several weeks these ongoing conversations through mail, through snail mail. We're helping out the post office. So that, and then a few times the kids shared their phone numbers. And so in many instances, they've been able to be on the phone with each other. And it's something that just makes your heart weep. It's loving your neighbor exponentially. It's just the most beautiful, beautiful gesture of love that these two groups are sharing, and how many of them are looking forward to the time when we're out of quarantine, when we can be outside of our homes, and they actually want to come together and have lunch and meet in person, which I just think about, like videotaping some of these reunions and how beautiful a thing that will be. So yeah, it's just, yeah.
Well, when I hear you speak of it, I'm reminded of pen pals with people in prison and how important that is to people in prison. And here we are self-isolating in our own prison. We have for years really wanted to be involved with intergenerational work, and all the research shows about how every generation is built up when the generations join together. It's like the difference between just the woodwind section and getting a whole symphony together, and the mutual love. What an incredible thing that has evolved out of some of our difficult stuff. Yeah. I wonder if you might just say another word about some of the other things you're doing to keep that community connected. We always say that it takes a village to raise somebody in our world today, and you and Justin, to some degree, are other figures in some of these kids' lives that are bringing stability. What is some of the other stuff you're up to?
So, I mean, early on, what I did was I have note cards at home, and so I took to writing to each of the kids that were part of the youth group. It was important for me to do that, so that they knew it wasn't an email. I think there's no offense against email or texting, but to have something written in pen and to be receiving of that, it takes thought. It shows that for me, I do love each and every one of them. And they might find that really funny, even those that I don't know. Maybe I know them marginally, but even in that sense, every time I come across their names, it's like a little prayer that I'm doing for each and every one of them. And it really, it was as much an exercise for me being able to pray individually for each of them as it was just checking in on them and letting them know that we, the church, are here for them no matter what, that we do love them unconditionally. Even when we cannot gather in person, that we're holding them in this great big basket of care and love and understanding. So that was something that I did early on, and it was very sweet getting some responses from the kids, whether it was an email or a text, and just a little shout out from them to just touch base with them, because invariably it's a very stressful time for families and for kids to be at home and to sort of try to navigate the ickiness that a lot of this brings. It's not easy. And, we all are experiencing that ickiness in our families. We're not immune to it. And so I think for us to just remind them that the church is really here for them, no matter what, was good for them. Justin and I continue to do confirmation class on Wednesdays, and so the kids join us via Zoom, which is always a lot of fun to hear where the kids are at and what's going on with them. So we do that on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, we have a general Zoom drop-in that's really open to all of the kids. And that is probably the most playful and hysterical and joyous time of the week for me. I'm going to say it's that for Justin as well, because I come out of there just laughing. And it's just, when you can't go outside, when it's a gloomy day inside the house and a gloomy day outside of the house, and you come inside and you're connecting with these people that can just make you laugh from the belly. There's nothing better than that.
Oh, I love that. And boy, do we all need to laugh now. It just is, I think we're all sort of holding this thing. It's just there. And so you laugh, it lets it go. That's really, really beautiful. We've been having a lot of staff meetings on Zoom. We've been talking a lot about care and keeping of the whole of our population, not just the elders. It turns out a lot of the elders are doing better than the rest of us. That we're all learning about resilience. They didn't get to be elders because they didn't know how to survive things.
Yeah.
But one of the great concern about mental health, particularly of young parents and dealing with children at home, little kids, but also great concern about the mental health of our children, our youth, young adults. I wonder if you might just say a word about that, or what you're observing and how you feel about
Yeah, I mean, so my background is public health. Although my training was really around HIV and AIDS, I did work a lot with young people very early on in my career, and that has continued on throughout my life. And one of the things that I do worry about, and that has been brought up, which you said, was the mental health aspect. You know, we do have a certain number of young people in our population that are diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And, you know, I think about them a lot during this time. What, if any, effect this will have on them long term? And I really pray for them and their spirit, that they know that there is a love for them that is greater than they know. And we don't know what long-term this will be. There are plenty of people who are starting to research, not just for young people, but for the population in general. They're starting to research what implications that this will have on the mental health of our people in general. But like I said, I do worry about those that have already been diagnosed, and also those who don't have a diagnosis and are just starting to feel a great weight and a sadness, and you know, how to work through those feelings of just despair sometimes, and not wanting to get on Zoom to do your class in the morning. You know, the other good thing I felt was class is not starting as early as it has been. Like, I think the kids are going to school at like 8:15, and so I'm up, yay, they're sleeping in, which is really good. But I also think about the amount of time that they're spending on the screen and what impact, if any, that has. You know, again, like I said in the beginning of this, we were saying to everybody, get your kids off the screen and manage screen time. And, you know, here we are, you know, the kids are all doing their learning online, and we don't know, you know, if they're doing classes from 8:30 to 2 o'clock, what does that mean? You know, Peter, I don't know to what extent you feel exhausted after doing a Zoom meeting after a Zoom meeting after a Zoom meeting. There you go. He's down for the count. But as a young person, you know, you're go, go, go. And, you know, it's nothing against the parents, but the parents are like, are you on your class? Are you doing your class? And we don't know what this effect will have. So I do sort of worry, not worry. I'm curious down the road what we'll see. I also am curious, you know, so much screen time, it can affect your eyes. And so I wonder about things like that. Days where you're able to be off, and not Zoom. Can you really take a break and have respite? And can you have that Sabbath and honor that Sabbath? There's something to be really said about that. So yeah, those are some of the things that are on my mind.
Wow. Really, really beautiful to hear you speak about this. What you don't know out there in TV land is Cyra has a graduate degree in public health from Columbia, and as you said, you've always had a heart for youth and a heart for the great call of humanity to take care of those who are most in trouble. And we find ourselves in kind of odd times, filled with great troublesome and also great beauties. And we as a congregation are grateful to you your letter writing campaign, absolutely incredible. I just say the letter you wrote to my son Phineas sat on the dinner table with our single candle in the middle. Cyra's letter was there for 3 or 4 days. We were all so moved. People like, Cyra wrote Phineas' letter? That's outrageous. Anyway, we are grateful to you. I do want to just finish up our time by saying that if there is anybody, any family that's listening to this, any youth listening to this, if you're really troubled, if you're kind of troubled, and if you're not troubled at all, we are in business for you and have a great desire to serve you. And if you're looking for a lovely and holy heart to put a big ear on what you have to say, Cyra, you just can't go better than to reach out to Cyra because, as I said, she has an incredibly loving heart and a real passion for the people of God. So, Cyra, God bless you. And anybody wants to be in touch with Cyra, you can find her on the website through your magic fingers. We're going to sign off now, but we're always devoted to you and your devotion to our kids. And so peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Take care and be safe and stay home as much as you can. I called her earlier. She was out shopping for her in-laws. So if you write her, tell Cyra to stay home. Okay. God bless you, everybody. Take care. See you soon.